How do you mend a broken jack-o'-lantern? With a pumpkin patch.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Jupiter Night. We're back, and my name is Chris.
I'm John.
I'm Jeremy.
Brian.
Hey there, guys.
Hi, guys.
So Jupiter Night's sort of like the best geek talk show in the whole world. We sit
Sort of.
here.
Yeah.
We
say humbly.
In our humble opinion, it is the best geek talk show ever. In fact, it's really meant as an audio show, but we put a video version out there too if you want to watch along. And you can find it over at Jupiter Broadcasting. And this week, we've got a lot of topics we're going to talk about.
Let's do it. Let's
But
talk.
wait a minute. Before we get rolling, we got to get our beverage on.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
we're trying.
three out of the four of us do.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 of us do. But we've got.
I'm not drinking booze today.
We've got kind of an interesting little comparison. We're
You
going to
don't need
take cheapo Bacardi,
Yes.
and then we're going to take the expensive Captain Morgan's private stock. Not like it's like the elitist rum of
I
all,
wanna
but
Mix
say-
them all together.
I want to say for the record, Bacardi's not that bad.
it's not.
No,
but
call it-
this
Pretty average.
this private stock is
good stuff.
it's $10 more a liter than this Bacardi is. So it's
Whoa.
got a $10 a liter premium on it, and this is, I think, kind of the common one people get. So now we're
Yeah.
going to find out. Now, I asked up on the Google Plus and on the Twitter.
Yes.
I said, do I serve it chilled or room temperature? Because we took heat last episode for using ice in our whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, whoa. You took heat for using ice in the whiskey?
yeah.
Well, you have to have water in the whiskey. You have to. If you don't add a few
I think
drops
it
of
might have
water,
been-
the flavor doesn't come
might have
out.
been
Well,
too
I
much
think-
ice.
Yeah, they said too much
Yeah.
ice in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
We were hot. It was warm in here, and
But
so
if it's
It was a
hot,
warm
come
day.
on.
Yeah.
Well, here's a great example. If you got a bunch of whiskey, you add a whole bunch of ice, get some limes in there, or not some limes, but some mint.
coconut?
Get
Yes.
a mint julep going on. That is tasty, and that is very heavy on like the water and mint
We had
flavor.
no mint though.
But
I
it's
don't
okay.
care
It's
for
just
the-
part of a mint julep. So you had a half mint julep.
Besides, I don't think that any of us have ever claimed to know how to drink other than just to shove it in our face.
yeah, that's true. But so this episode, this one's chilled. They said white rum should be chilled, and so we're gonna try it. We're gonna start with Bacardi and see what we think, and then on our next glass, we'll switch to the Captain Morgan private stock. All right, Johnny, I'll let you go.
Okay.
Now we've got coming
Let's
up.
make him a
towards-
mouthwater. I'm a real rum fan.
Are you?
Yeah.
Coming up towards the end of the episode, we've
I
got
don't like rum.
we've got that we're changing the name of the watch along segment. We asked everybody at home, go watch Sherlock this week because we're going to talk the hell out of Sherlock at the end of this episode. But we got a
Right.
new name for it, right, boys?
Yeah. It's no longer watch along.
Nope.
What's the Brian? You remember the new official name?
Well, you wanted to call it the rewind.
Yeah,
and
the
that's
rewind
That's
segment.
a great. That's a
kinda
great
classy.
name. It's
Thank you.
classy.
That's
It's a
very
single word.
serious.
I'm saying we call it the moving picture happy fun mutual time.
Mutual is the key word there.
Yes.
Correct.
But all of the others are also
It's
important.
Yes.
mutual with you, the listener.
That's
so
right.
In fact, some of the folks on the live stream actually sat around and watched me watch it earlier today.
That is
Wow.
ridiculously mutual and creepy.
I hope you were giving some great facial expressions.
Occasionally, yes.
that is super mutual.
Oh my goodness.
That is very mutual. Before we get to all of that, we've got a lot of geeky topics that came out this week.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you guys. 2 days ago, I thought we had no show. Today, we've got too much show.
A lot of show.
Good
Feels
thing
a
we
lot
didn't do
of
the
show.
show 2 days ago.
I know. So why don't we start out with the heavy TV news first?
Okay.
Because I think
It's mostly sad news.
it is mostly sad news. Everybody on this panel, I think, was at least, if not directly, probably like you, John, weren't directly looking forward to a Stargate TV made-for-TV movie. But
I wasn't against it. I just hadn't really followed along.
And I
well,
think-
multiple movies.
yeah, a whole series of them, right? But that's been the kibosh. That's not going to happen, right? That's
Yeah,
the word.
it's been squashed big time. and
Well,
it
wasn't
sucks.
it that the studio that basically owned Stargate was bought up by somebody else? MGM bought up by Spyglass. Was that this
Oh,
one?
really? Don't know.
Well,
Don't know.
I don't
know.
I think what happened
Jim was bought up.
is
Spyglass?
the universal sadness consumed my soul, and therefore there's no more Stargate TV films.
It's weird.
Way to go,
I've never been a
sadness.
huge.
This is some nasty stuff. Just drink it straight.
I've never been a huge fan of
Right?
Stargate.
I'm
I
just
will
not a big
admit that.
rum guy.
Well, now the white stuff I don't think is supposed to be for direct sipping.
No.
The dark stuff's for digestive.
That's your sipping rum.
That's your sipping rum. But
digestive.
we're doing it for the taste to see what the taste difference is.
Do you want to go grab a glass of like a Coke or something?
You
just
want to pour?
I don't
you
have
want
any.
that in?
You don't have any?
You don't want any
Wow.
Red Bull or I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
just
Red
gonna have
Bull
a
and
sip of
rum
this here Dr.
sounds
Pepper.
dangerous.
No, Red Bull and rum is
delicious.
great.
I'll try it.
All right. Let's talk a little about Torchwood because I think we're all fans of Torchwood from our previous mutual watch-along segment.
I've been watching it since then.
Really?
Yes.
You went back and started?
Yeah, it's from season 1.
Right.
Yeah.
It's decent.
yeah.
It's a whole lot of gay, but it's pretty decent. I mean, I don't say that in a bad way. I just mean that literally like half the plot points have a little bit of gay plot points.
Well,
in it.
that's just because Captain Jack is a little...
Captain Jack's all over the place. I don't mean that in a bad way.
I'm not sure if it's exactly plot points. It's just a heavy subject matter.
I don't think we mentioned in our Torchwood.
Oh yeah, I think season or episode 2, season 1 has Gwen just making out with a girl right there in a jail cell.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well,
Right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
I'll drink to that.
So is everyone here intending to watch the new season?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I actually already have it TiVoed to...
Hey, do any of you know, I couldn't find an answer to this real quickly. It sounds like the Miracle Day thing is going to be like a whole series-long or a season-long arc. Is this just going to be another miniseries like Children of Earth?
No, it's just a normal series. It's just that there's an underlying storyline. Almost all of the Torchwood series do that, and almost all the Doctor Who's do that, where there is an underlying storyline. That's the underlying storyline for this new one.
So the entire season, people are going to be not dying?
Yeah, it's Miracle Day, right? I mean, that's what I get from
I don't think we know necessarily that the entire season people are not going to be dying, but that's the storyline that kicks off.
Based on this
continuing part of that storyline.
From what I know, it's just called Torchwood Miracle Day. So my understanding is at least it's going to be following the events
the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
We've got here from IO9. We've got a story that's about some of the things, and these are fairly spoiler. These aren't really spoilers, but some of the things that they're going to say we can expect to see, including the entire world just going crazy.
Yeah, well, think about it. If people didn't die, regardless of the state of their body, there would be a lot of religious panic and scientific panic. And
what's funny that you touch on that because it says here nobody
people
is
having lots of unprotected sex.
It says here nobody is
all
safe
the time right now.
This is coming from the creators. It says nobody's safe. Jack is mortal again. There's no guarantee that he'll survive this adventure.
Yeah, that's the one thing we should point out, because Jack can't die, and now he can die.
They went topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That could be a big change up for this next season. I'm really excited that the mutual fun watch along segment got me into a new TV show.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Because I've been.
We've been telling you to watch Doctor Who before too.
I know
that other guy that's in some of those pictures. Is that he's going to be a new member of Torchwood? The black guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is he the CIA guy?
Oh, I don't know. Is he?
Because they're adding
bringing in another.
He looks like the CIA.
Right now, it's pretty much like at least before it was pretty much just Gwen and Jack, right?
Yeah. By the end of Children of Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think so. It supposedly starts off, and everyone's all like, Torchwood's basically gone, and then a CIA guy finds out about a lot of stuff, goes over to England, and be like, "Where the heck's all the Torchwood at?"
Yeah,
and then they kick it off from there.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Mad High in the chat room has brought up the fact that at one point in one of Jack's final appearances in Doctor Who, it's hinted that he may become the face of Bo, which is a near immortal character in the Doctor Who series.
Face of Bo, I think it's just spelled B-O.
Well, yeah, or BOE or something like that. But anyway, this article. The creator actually talks about that. He says that was only a speculative scene. It's not necessarily a guaranteed future. It could be a alternate reality. It could be just not true.
And time. I think actually that was before the universe was recreated.
That's right.
Yeah.
So are you guys ready to move on to the next one?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys looking forward to Chuck?
I used to really like Chuck, and I'm kind of falling off
Lukewarm?
a little bit. Yeah.
Chuck is still fun.
It's still fun, but giving Morgan the powers at the end, giving him... No, I didn't like that.
So Chuck's coming back. It's coming back on October 21st. So that's pretty good. Also,
I'm actually kind of excited about that because that means that they only have one wasted episode before they get right into their big Halloween special, which I love on Chuck. They do it every year.
They do a pretty good Halloween show, don't
They do. They do
I hate Halloween, and I like the Halloween episodes.
Community does great Halloween, too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It didn't register with me how far off that is. October's quite a ways off still for a return. That's a late return, huh?
Yeah, it is.
It's late.
Yeah.
And they're just so blatant with the advertising. They must be making some money on it. Like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be their sell.
I think I'm coming at it actually from a different point of view. Like, I was actually super bored with Chuck last season because honestly, it got to the point where, okay, Chuck is a great spy, kicks major ass, and cannot fail. I love it now that they're like, Morgan's like, I know Kung Fu. And Morgan's so awesome because he's just random.
I like Morgan a lot. I'm just kind of worried about how they'll take it because sometimes he overdoes stuff a little bit.
I think it'll make it more like the show was season 1.
Oh.
Because now we've got a nerd that's fish out of water, and that was when the show was best.
I can see that, but I feel like them doing this was them just grasping at straws of trying to bring back the golden age.
It totally was. They were rebooting with Morgan as Chuck. They might as well just recall the show Morgan.
Right.
And I would watch it, but that just be done with it.
You're right, but I'd rather watch a reboot with Morgan.
Yeah,
rather than
spin it off.
Spin it
Chuck
off.
be awesome and go on his adventures with his blonde girlfriend that everyone thinks is hotter than she is.
See you later, everybody.
And then have Morgan be awesome. Bring back the Korean girlfriend and just make it all funky.
Sorry about that.
I love it.
At least the alcohol will kill any bacteria that I got from making out with the hobos. Now. The other
got
thing,
that going for you.
We got a few extra links. I think maybe we'll skip over what's left in the TV segment.
No, I want to talk about this third one.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's a really quick one, but Hasselhoff is starring as a porn star.
Oh,
thank God.
In the Sons of Anarchy.
You know what? I'm glad you brought this one up. Now,
is that not the best casting ever?
Yes. Yes, that is great casting.
Yeah, I kind of.
Speaking of spin-offs.
I invite you right now to listen to go watch Hasselhoff's music videos.
Yeah,
please.
Oh, man.
Get in my
go for a ride.
Come on,
like that, yeah.
come on, sweetie, get
in my car.
Yeah, like that.
Watch that video. I think they're surfing with penguins.
I think so as well.
Also,
positive they are. Just that's the thing.
Just because it's awesome, I put a link in the show notes about Netflix now carrying the 90s X-Men, and also they're carrying
X-Men Evolution and Spider-Man.
Right.
And you just told me He-Man's on there.
He-Man's on there too.
Yeah, He-Man's on there.
So if you're a Netflix,
same with She-Ra,
right?
Check that out.
Princess of Power. Yeah.
Now, I'd like to point out Chris's editorial note in our show doc says, "I am so gay for Netflix."
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, how cool is Netflix?
Pretty awesome.
It really is.
You're making the assumption Netflix is a dude.
Yeah.
Well, no. Okay.
Netflix is a dude.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Now, who wants to talk about this book on here?
I do real quick,
All right.
because this is
big
timely.
news. Fantasy-wise, people have been waiting for this.
You guys have been watching Game of Thrones, right? Everybody out there, don't answer because I don't want to be disappointed by your answers.
Okay,
but
good.
so you have been watching. So the 5th book in the series, which is the final book in the series, is coming out.
Is it
next
the final?
Tuesday.
I thought that he said he was going to maybe do 2 more.
You know, originally it was supposed to be a 4-book series.
Yeah.
And then as he was writing the 4th, he decided to split it into 2.
Right, but I thought maybe there's still going to be 2 more.
Nope, John. You see, the thing is, these books are making way too much money.
That's
He has
the
to kill
thing.
that right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like.
I've
think-
been reading some spoiler-heavy reviews, and it sounds like the main plot lines of the first 5 have kind
Are
of
wrapping
wrapped
up.
But it's such a big
Vast universe, yeah.
real vast.
Wait,
Could easily be spun
It's
off
totally
into
gonna end
additional
up
books.
cliffhanger to
Are you
piss everyone
saying
off.
they blew through the first 5 books in the first season?
No, they
no,
blew
no.
through the first book.
Okay, all right. That's
Right.
what I thought. Okay, I just for a second there I thought the way you said that was yeah.
No.
So this comes out next Tuesday. This book.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
Dance with Dragons.
People have been waiting because it takes a long time in between. Started in what, like 95?
Did you put that in there as an affiliate link?
No, this is actually a review that I've got,
okay.
but I'll put one in before you publish
Now,
Rock and roll
to the
thing.
Amazon where you can buy it.
what do you guys think we talk a little movies here? We've got some Marvel shorts, but before we get to that, there was a sci-fi, or actually this is an entertainment magazine, did a top sci-fi poll, and Blade Runner came out on top, but I thought maybe we'd look at a couple
what
other
magazine was this?
I think
I was
that's
thinking
good.
Short Circuit would have won for sure.
Yeah, no, Short Circuit 2.
Short Circuit 2.
This is the Sydney. Oh, it's not a magazine; it's a newspaper. It's the Sydney Morning Herald.
Okay.
So of course, I love. Why do you? Why
Well,
would
it's
you?
obviously Short Circuit 2.
He's not gold-plated in the first one.
All right, here we go.
Okay, you got
Right?
They have the Terminator, the first one at number 10, The Matrix at number 9, Inception at number 8, Alien 7, 6 is E.T., 5 is Star Wars, 4 is Alien, 3 is 2001,
Man.
2 is Star Wars,
I
The
think
Empire
they
Strikes
pulled
Back.
old people for this.
Man, yeah, who would? Well, to start with,
I mean,
our
ours. I like all those
Those
movies.
are all.
these are all good
way.
movies.
There's no way Inception would be on an actual top 10 list of sci-fi greats.
No.
Because it was a cute little movie, but it's done and over with.
It's
And
not
I think
Blade
3
Runner
years from
or-
now, no one will even remember
Well,
that.
would
And
you
the
say,
hardcore sci-fi nerds are going to get all up in arms about the inaccurate science.
But would you say it's
right.
sort of along the same sci-fi vein of Matrix? No?
Dude, this is like Women's Day Weekly conducting a best comic book poll. I don't
Actually, I
care what
kind of see
magazine
his point.
says.
I think I can see it kind of at least some ties to the Matrix.
But the Matrix is still more techy, right? 'Cause you're
Yeah,
hooked
yeah,
up to
it's definitely more
machinery
techy.
and-
Well,
definitely
yeah,
more
and I
techy.
think if you get right down to it, the science of the Matrix was more accurate. I realize that's a stretch of the term, but it's more accurate than Inception.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
more-
you're right. And
feasible.
obviously, Wrath of Khan would not be on a top 10.
Yes, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
it isn't.
That's
This list
crazy.
is just stupid by people who don't do sci-fi.
This is kind of
So
what I
who
was wondering
cares?
what you guys
So
would
Blade
think.
Runner's
Would you
a
think?
good sci-fi movie.
All of
I like
these
those movies.
belong in a top 20, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a top
probably.
50.
But
Yeah,
I think there
except
are
for
some
that one.
important. I mean, they didn't mention any of the old They didn't mention the original Planet of the Apes, which I think was kind of a turning point for
Awesome.
sci-fi.
Right.
No Dune.
Maybe not the best movie
And I felt
ever.
like
No
the
Dune.
number.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best
Yeah.
movies ever,
But
but
important.
they held
I
important.
felt
Yeah,
like
right.
a
I'm
lot
with
of times. Do you guys agree that 2001: Space Odyssey is like around the number 3 spot?
It's in the top.
It's always up there.
Do you think it's in the top 5?
Top 5.
Yeah.
I'd say 10.
Really,
Again,
though,
an
dude?
important movie, but not a really good one.
Oh, I love 2000.
I don't know.
I think it's a pretty
I
good
like
movie.
2000.
I think it's pretty
2010
good.
also,
And I think the
but-
other thing about what stands up to it now is the just gorgeous practical model work done. I mean, like the visuals still
it's
hold
so
up.
good.
And here's a question.
Yeah,
Where
that's
the
true.
hell was Metropolis on that list?
Yeah, Metropolis almost deserves a mention by
No,
default.
Metropolis should be
Yeah.
just number 1, period. It was the first
you go.
real decent
Yeah.
sci-fi movie. And it was a more hardcore sci-fi movie than we got until really like the mid-'80s.
I think Blisk in the chat room is absolutely correct.
Spaceballs, yeah.
belongs there
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
for many reasons.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Terms of endearment, maybe.
Now, you guys know any of the details on the news coming out of Marvel that they're going to take their air quotes here C-list?
Yeah, see, let's give them like little short ones.
Yeah, like web series and stuff. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think they're just trying to spark some interest and see if they can like move them up.
I
Take 'em out of
would
C-list.
actually do a web series. That could be fun.
I think so.
that'd be awesome.
I think it might be
watch
kind of cool. It might be kind of cool, but it's obvious what they're trying to do.
These
Just kind of
aren't
see if they
really
can find any interest.
C-list heroes. I mean,
Yeah,
they're talking
bring
about
up the
Luke
list.
Cage and Doctor Strange, right?
I think so. And I guess
Oh,
he's-
really?
Dude, Doctor Strange is about as A-list badass as it gets.
Seriously.
I guess the
And
Magic.
Luke Cage? Dude, he's rocking.
He's at
He's
least
pretty
B.
rocking.
At least B.
I think
He's rocking.
so-
He's got the chain.
two of these have already been shot, and
Wow, I did not know that.
one's going to be included on the new Thor DVD, and one's going to be
Really?
included on the Captain America DVD.
And are these are
Smart.
live action, just like the rest of the Avengers?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the article that you're showing there has a picture from Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I think it's still. Are
Because-
these tying in with the rest of the Avenger
Yeah,
franchise?
and it's going to incorporate the Shield, and it's going to include that agent guy always from the Shield's going to be
Yeah.
in the shorts and
Right.
stuff like that.
Oh,
I
that's
wonder if it's
cool.
to the point that like if they decide to go forward with it, that they'll use the same actors, or if they'll try and get bigger names. My guess is that they'll try and get bigger names because
If they try to turn it into
Right.
a
yeah,
big
trying to
movie.
feature length.
Like if the
Right.
Doctor Strange web series becomes
Yeah.
awesome.
I would
and-
kill for a Doctor Strange full-length film.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would
I'm,
be pretty
I'm
cool.
high-fiving you in my head right now. Oh,
Yeah.
you're right next to me.
Or Sentry. Right?
you guys
Would
just
Sentry
do
not
it?
be badass?
I want
Yeah,
Doctor Strange
Here's the thing,
instead.
totally aside, guys.
Okay.
This is why I love Marvel. So here's DC. DC has Superman as the most powerful dude, right?
Yeah.
He's kind
Yes.
of sitting out there. The most powerful dude in the Marvel universe is the Sentry. He's pretty much like Superman. He feeds a lot off the sun. He can do just about anything, except instead of being some pretty Nancy boy
He's not
running
a very
around in
nice
tights.
guy.
No, it's not that he's not nice. It's he's mentally screwed up. He's friggin' crazy.
Cat and the Angie
He's
calls
like-
him a psychotic Superman.
Yeah, he's a little bit psychotic. He's bipolar. He's all over the map. It's awesome. It makes for such really wicked, horribly awesome stories.
Who
And
can
that's
love
why
me?
Marvel's cool. I would love a full-on
Does
Sentry
he have daddy
movie.
issues too?
He does. Actually, have
Awesome.
daddy issues.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
So,
I
would
his
love
day
that.
job is a pole dancer.
Soul, dude. Fortress.
Totally jealous of the Fortress of Solitude. Excellent. Now, you guys take a gander here at this movies list. Is there any other story that one of you boys wants to take?
No, we'll keep those in the show notes.
I want to
though.
make a one quick shout out. If you are bummed out that there's not going to be any more Stargate Atlantis stuff, Jason Momoa, who was totally badass in Stargate Atlantis,
Totally badass in Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah, he's
until he
awesome.
died like a little bitch.
He's awesome. I'm a huge fan of
Womp
his.
womp.
He is starring as the new Conan. He is taking over. He's trouncing Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's the new Conan. There's a trailer out, and you can see in the notes. And
The
it
buzz
looks
is
rad.
bad though. The buzz is bad.
You know what? The buzz was horrible for the original Conan.
The original
yeah.
Conan was campy.
It was campy,
Yeah.
but it's
terrible.
fun, right?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
James
that's-
Earl
That's my
Jones.
hope. That's my hope. Is that this one's like that in that way.
Now-
Anyway, that's all I had to say on it.
Probably one other thing to touch on from the movie area. There are a bunch of good links in there to go check out, but we do. I think since the last episode, it was confirmed there is going to be a Thor 2 in
Yes.
2013.
But no Branagh.
New director.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Although he's supposed to be involved in some
He's
way,
he's
right?
he's getting a producer
Like,
credit.
yeah.
at least.
Has there been
Yeah.
any statement as to why
Yes.
they're not doing him again?
He opted out because it was a huge film for him, and he has a couple of smaller films that he wants to do. You know, because
Right.
he's more of a
Shakespeare guy,
yeah,
really.
he likes smaller movies. He likes more dialogue heavy stuff, and he's going back to that.
So we're just about a year, 2 years out. The date is July 26, 2013 right
Yep.
now. He said that the split was and his amicable and mutual in his own words.
Yeah.
I
So-
could see that.
And I don't-
absolutely
I don't
just
doubt
what
it.
you said. He's been a Shakespeare guy. I think he's just more of an
smells better.
ensemble cast.
Yeah, that's
no,
more his
no
deal.
big budget sci-fi things. You know, he had actually talked about this several times in his as Thor being kind of an experiment, a way to stretch himself.
And it was.
It was, and
Yeah.
I think we've said on the show before, Thor came off very well. So
What was the biggest thing he directed prior?
Henry V?
Hamlet?
Yeah, Hamlet probably, right?
Yeah, probably Hamlet.
Well, Henry
he's been in a lot
had
of stuff.
huge battle scene in it that he did.
Yeah, well, he's done lots of stuff. I know, but as far as like big budget
blockbusters,
movies, yeah, blockbusters.
He's not a big blockbuster guy.
He's been in
Wait.
Wild Wild West.
Wild West.
Wild
He didn't direct that.
Wild West.
Let's make racist and handicap jokes at each other for 5 minutes.
So
Yes.
I'm stepping up now from the cheapo stuff, which I got to say was not good. In fact, I mixed it with Johnny's homemade Red Bull to break
cut
it
it.
up.
Yeah.
But now I'm switching to the Private Morgan's, the Captain Morgan's private stock. One thing I've noticed is I already got a little on my fingers. It's sticky.
Well, it's much more sugary.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
I would like to
This is
apologize
Pirates
to
like it.
everybody watching the video version that just saw us pour it into the same glasses. So there's residue of Red Bull and previous cheap.
I tried to
Great,
lick
now
mine
I've got
clean.
2 drinking problems.
Right.
I tried to lick mine clean. I really did. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So
we know we're not the best at drinking.
I think I want to skip over a couple of things and move to the game section because we got a Star Trek game I want to talk about, see what you guys think.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the B-Man over there wrote up a blog post about retro gaming, and he brought a little rig with him and all this kind of stuff. And I want to talk to you guys about this. And I really think this is going to be something we can chew on.
This wasn't in the doc earlier.
Oh my goodness.
I know. But let's talk about this new Star Trek video game. So this
Okay.
is a tie-in to the new movie.
Yes.
So probably already on Brian's hit list.
Okay,
for that.
has it officially been said that it's a tie-in? Like is it a prequel to the next movie or what?
Now this is the second video game that's a tie-in to the rebooted franchise.
There was
The
that really crappy
The first one was a top-down vertical scroller that was just atrocious.
Really
and
bad.
basically you flew the Enterprise and it just made you want to stab J.J. Abrams in
an
the
iPad
face.
app or something?
Yeah, it was like an iPhone and a couple other places.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
This
Nice
one-
background on that, man.
This
is your
one is... Well, hold on. We got to get into
hold
the
on,
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah,
Star Trek.
geez.
I'm starting to geek out ahead of us.
I know. No, this is going to be a companion movie, and I think 0K in the chat room is hooking us up with the 411.
game.
It's going to be an Xbox Live release, and
Okay.
it's supposed to be a very
Wait, so just a download, not a full box?
I think so.
Yeah, it's just an Xbox Live Arcade
But
game.
it's supposed to be a very visceral first-person
Looks pretty
shooter.
good from there.
It looks okay.
It looks a lot like the Voyager first-person shooter.
It does.
Which I love.
It does kind of remind me of that. I'm never a big fan of
Reminds me
movie
a lot of
tie-ins.
Mass
but
Effect.
Yeah, it really does.
Movie
Yeah, I was thinking Mass Effect too.
movie
Yeah,
tie-in video
Mass Effect
games are
2.
never all that good, but I gotta say, you guys, this trailer actually looks kind of fun.
It does look fun.
At least,
Now-
it's something I'm going to pick up and play for
One
a
of the
day.
strengths of this game that I'd heard
Yeah, I'll buy
about,
it.
confirm if you've read more of this and I haven't, but it focuses on co-op play, right? Like you're going to be able to play.
Oh, good.
It
That's what I
does.
heard.
I think it's
Here it
Kirk,
is.
it's
Right.
Kirk
Fight
Yep.
together.
Yeah, Kirk
one
and
is
Spock.
Kirk, one is Spock.
Fight together, die alone.
and Kirk and Spock both have different sort of combat tactics that you use,
Interesting.
and so you depending on which one you're playing, you alter your gameplay to
Yeah.
be more like Kirk or more like Spock.
It does actually look pretty cool.
Now, again, back to what I was asking, though. Is it going to be a direct plot tie-in to the next movie? Do we know?
That I don't know.
Are they
don't
going to reference the video game in the movie? I guess is what Jeremy's asking.
Do you remember when you pushed up and B at the same time, Spock?
I'll tell you,
Hold on while I make out with Uhura before I answer.
achievement unlocked. Yeah, I think the thing that I kind of
Left trigger.
as a Star Trek ship fan, one of the things that's kind of neat is they're taking set designs and blueprints that weren't built for the actual movie, and they've taken them and they're making 3D renders of them for the game. So you'll spend time
Great.
in other parts of that Enterprise that were originally blueprinted up but weren't in the movie
See, I
itself.
like
Do we
that.
get to visit
I
that
like
brewery? I mean engineering.
Right? Yeah, the Budweiser Brewery. So that's kind of neat. Something I'm going to keep my eye on. I think we'll probably
Yeah.
give a review once
Looks
it
good.
hits.
Yeah. Well,
Let's-
if it's cheap on the Xbox Arcade, then whatever.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up either there or on the PlayStation Marketplace.
Here's
It's available on
here's
both,
a
but-
there's a tone in all of our voices, and all of it is a kind of a mutual. Meh. I mean, I'll get
Dude,
it.
it's the new movie reboots. Like, I just don't care. Like, literally, the new movie, the next one that comes out, it's the first Star Trek movie where I'm not going to be there opening night. I'll watch it, and I'll see it, and I'll probably enjoy a little bit of it, but I'm not going to be there opening night.
Oh, I
That's
will
the
be.
first
I'll be there.
time in
Yeah.
like
I'll be there.
in like 25 years.
Unless you have other plans, I
I
might ask you to come anyway. I'll buy your ticket.
Do you, Brian? Now,
Whoa.
is
If it's free, I'll
is
take
it because
If there's popcorn involved, I'm in.
No popcorn.
is it because Brian? It is a game about a movie you're not excited about, or is it because it is a game that is
He's talking about the
essentially-
movie in general.
I'm talking about the movie in general.
I know, but I'm talking about the game.
Yeah.
None of us really, even though we're big Star Trek fans.
I'm gonna pick up the game in the hopes that I really like some of the visuals and I like some of like the ship shots. That's
Is
what I'm
there-
gonna pick it up purely for.
kind of where I'm
And
at.
is there a part of you that wants the game to excite you about the movie?
A little
That's
bit.
where I'm at.
A little bit. If the game is like amazing
that's
and they
interesting.
prove to me that they care so much about real Star Trek, I might actually be like, you know what, I'm in. I'm in for the next movie. But I'm trying to be open, but I don't know. I'm just not interested.
But I think that's just because I'm a gamer and games talk to me.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's because
I'm curious about it.
I think it's because a lot of these video games, and I know for me, first-person shooters, I know this isn't true for everybody, just don't get us that excited anymore.
Yeah. It's not
See,
that exciting.
for me, it's more. I mean, the fact that it's not a full release, it's an online game, and the fact that it's a movie, those aren't always good. In fact, there's a lot of crap downloadable content. There's a lot of great downloadable content.
But when has the movie downloadable content tie-in game ever been good?
Right. But that being said, it looks really good.
Isn't that?
I think it looks really good.
You know, I know it's not a great game, but I actually got some enjoyment out of that arena type PvP Star Trek game that came out several years ago on the Xbox Arcade. I don't even remember what it's called.
Was that DAE?
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, DEA or
something like that.
DAE or whatever.
That was just basic Star Trek though. That wasn't a movie.
No, it was just like an arena.
Yeah, it was a Star Trek
game.
It wasn't like a movie tie-in game or anything.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I think honestly, it's that we're jaded.
Yeah,
I think we've been burned so many times by the transfer between movies and video games, one way or the other.
They're almost always bad.
I think there's more to it.
I think there's more to it than that as well.
I think
remember Aladdin? Aladdin was a great game.
I think we're living in the era of mediocre video games because they're a dime a dozen to pop out now via Xbox Live or the App Store.
There's a lot of really good ones though, Chris. I mean,
there are definitely good ones. Yeah,
some of the best ones. DAC, thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Some of the best ones that I played recently that are like downloadable, cheap, small games are all indie titles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing put out by a major studio is
don't
worth.
interest me.
Indie titles is what's surprising me and what gives me that sort of that nerd glee these days. But I don't want to walk over John's point. I agree that there are good games out there, but the noise ratio is so high for bad games.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, so you got to really do your research. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I just see a game that looked fun, I just buy it. I wouldn't, there weren't really the reviews or you can really look stuff up on the internet. There were game magazines.
Yeah.
But other than like subscribing to a game magazine, you just had to go off word of mouth. So everybody had Metroid, everybody had Link, or Zelda.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that developers maybe were more driven to ship a finished product back when they couldn't update it over the web?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I actually remember a game. The very first The Elder Scrolls Arena was on 13 discs and didn't run. The version that I got did not run on my system.
Oh, man.
It took 4 months for me to be able to find a patch on a BBS that I was calling long distance to get to.
You hardcore, man.
Just so I could play the arena.
Dedicated. Now,
I think I remember
on hold
that,
for
actually.
4 months.
Yeah.
The B-Man over there wrote up a pretty good blog post about retro gaming. And Brian, you raised a few points looking at, on all of these, we just have to go into this conversation with the acknowledgement that we're detaching ourselves from the aspect of visual quality.
Right.
These games, let's talk about retro games, but let's just put visual quality aside because I think the iPhone and the Wii
visual quality does not matter as much to me.
I think the Wii and the iPhone have proven that.
I agree, but I want to state that some of these games that we're about to be talking about
are gorgeous.
Might not have the visual quality, but they have the visual efficiency.
What you need. I mean,
totally.
Yeah,
people are still playing Diablo 2 and StarCraft, even though
they give you the information you need in an efficient manner.
I think we're confusing visual quality with polygon count.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, like look at World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has a significantly worse visual quality from a technical standpoint than almost any other MMO that came out around that time. But it's gorgeous. Why? Because the art direction is quality and is excellent. You look at some of the classic old games. Master of Orion 2 is a great example in my opinion. It's kind of the first one I call out on my blog here. And the reason it's great is not just because it's a great game. It's not just because it's compelling and fun and awesome and easy to get into. It's great because the visual quality matches what it should be.
And,
it doesn't need anything else.
And this is a game that had to get across massive amounts of information in a very efficient manner.
In 640 by 480.
Yeah, it wasn't bogged down by stupid flashy graphics and animations that get in the way of everything.
Doesn't that just show us that good design is good design? And if it's good design in 1987 or 89, that it's still good design.
It's going to come down to fun more than it's going to come down to what it looks like.
Well, here's the thing. 30, 40 years ago, we had bands like the Beatles, Lynyrd Skynyrd. I mean, you had literally tons and tons of great music coming out that honestly kicks the butt of almost everything that comes out in the last 10 years.
Well, now, that's always a matter of opinion.
Keep talking about games because I'm going to disagree.
But now, what I'm saying
I listen to country.
Those were great tunes, and it's just the same with games. Games are art. Games are an art form and a form of entertainment. Do you guys like Star Trek Episode 4 still? Or Star Wars Episode 4. Like Star Wars Episode 4 and New Hope is still a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It hasn't lost its fun at all. Would you rather watch Star Wars Episode 4 or the new rebooted Star Trek movie?
Probably Star Wars Episode 4.
Come on, in a heartbeat, right?
Especially if you're going,
But I like
or a better example would be the new Star Wars movies versus the old Star Wars movies.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, where they're obviously polished, but they're no fun.
But they're no fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I've been kind of doing lately is I found that I've got my PS3, I've got my Xbox, I've got my Wii, I've got a decent PC and Mac going at home that I can throw any game on I want. And I keep on buying them, and I keep on not playing them, and then I go over to sites like Good Old Games or GOG.com.
How much have you checked out Good Old Games?
I haven't yet.
Oh my gosh.
Website ever created by God.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's the thing.
So it was created by God, by the way. If you look into the registry of this website, it's registered.
So here's an example of Deluxe Edition Roller Coaster Tycoon for $5.99.
$5.99
includes the soundtrack and the original manual.
Yes.
I'll take it one step further because some of these games you can still pick up in bargain bins at places like Best Buy and stuff for about the same price. But Good Old Games will include an emulator.
Yeah, it includes DOSBox pre-configured for your machine to run it perfectly for a couple dollars. It's a DRM-free version of it, so even if the game originally came with some sort of copy protection, you remember those old spinning wheels that you have to look at? They'll provide a version that doesn't need that.
Yeah.
It's legal, it's legit, it's archived, and it's going to run
a lot of the stuff on Good Old Games is abandonware.
It's it's available in their library for download later, and like the B-Man said, totally DRM-free, so you just move it around.
Right.
And we're talking expensive games are almost $10.
Yeah.
I picked up Descent 1, Descent 2, Free Space.
They're so good.
They are so good.
They're so good.
And I see on the homepage.
Those are my freshman college years.
Right here on the homepage, Beyond Good and Evil, the original un-HD version, $10.
Alone in the Dark, the complete series for $10. Here I've got
I got 4 games for $14.
What? So I've got a laptop here. This is my little Lenovo touchpad. So it's got a little touch screen, and you can touch screen it. But it's basically just a cheap little netbook, really. On my desktop, I've got Castles 1 and 2, all the Descent games, the real Fallout games, not the remade 3D ones that honestly don't have the same spirit and fun of the originals. Fallout Tactics, which is basically Final Fantasy Tactics smashed into the Fallout universe, which is incredible.
Awesome.
Master of Magics, all the Master of Orion games, which the third one sucks anyway. XCOM, Lord of the Rings, all of them. Alpha Centauri, which is one of the best strategy games ever. The Jagged Alliance games, Conquest of the New World.
Descent, Free Space.
Great.
They're amazing games.
And here's the thing.
Great
I've
games.
spent on all of these less than buying one new PS3 or Xbox.
And you're going to like
game.
it a lot better. You're going to spend more time on those.
So that's why I wrote up a little blog post. There was 3 games that I was playing a lot of. I was playing a lot of Master of Orion 2, Jagged Alliance 2, which is one of the hardest strategy games that has ever been created by God. It is hard as hell. And here's
I don't
the
think
thing.
I played this for more than 2 hours because it kept just wiping the floor with me.
It destroys you. It crushes you morally.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
I feel too good about myself.
It's so great because more and more games are for people who don't play games.
Right.
Yeah.
They are not made, even the really hardcore first-person shooters are not really for hardcore first-person shooter players anymore.
And
they're not
really,
hard.
you have to kind of blame Halo on this for a little bit, with
And World of Warcraft.
and it's like dying though, like with the shield regeneration thing. I think that's like
You just pop right back up.
Dude, I totally agree.
You know what I mean?
I have thought about that a lot. Halo introduced that.
I love Halo, but that's a problem because
You used
back
to
in the
have
day,
to
you
get-
had to just
You had to
GoldenEye,
find shield heals.
If you play GoldenEye on hard and you're protecting, what was her name? I can't remember her name.
Natasha.
You have to protect her on hard.
Hard.
Oh, that is
Impossible.
hard, and you have to start all over.
And your shields don't auto
That's the
recharge.
thing. Did you guys buy the remade version of GoldenEye for the Wii?
I did not, no.
All right, so I did because I'm stupid. So I love GoldenEye 64.
This is for the Wii?
That was for the Wii. And for the N64, GoldenEye 64 is one of the best party games ever. You throw it on paintball mode, you get midget mode going, and you got midgets
With the
running
big
around
heads, too.
with the big heads. It was so much fun. Now for the Wii, they have a lot of that stuff, but the game was easy. The game was super easy. It has like predictive firing, so you're like auto
That's
snaps.
a problem, right?
And the game itself is very, very linear, so it shows you where to go next. It says, hey, Bond, quick, look up and to the left and shoot that one guy because that'll help it make it easier for you.
You know what?
You do it because you have to, and it's
the thing is, though, isn't some of that a symptom of the... You got plenty.
No, I don't.
Isn't that... No, you got plenty. You
got plenty.
Isn't that the symptom of the controller interfaces being less precise?
I think what it is
the Wiimote is not as precise. Touchscreens are not as precise.
Nintendo found how great
64?
casual gaming was for them financially.
Yeah,
you know,
it makes more money.
Yeah, it makes more money. You know, same with phone games.
Chris, I do understand what you're saying to a certain extent because I think that these days shooters on PCs have become more prevalent than they were back in the days of the original GoldenEye. And people are used to the precision of the mouse at this point, so that when they go back to a controller, they feel less precise.
Right,
or they want auto aiming. Right, but it's not gotten any worse. The original N64 had no auto aim.
Yeah, and
it was a terrible controller.
Here's a point that needs to be made.
I got good at it.
On the Wii,
a long time.
I bought a special controller for the Wii for GoldenEye. There's very few games on the Wii that can even use it. It's called the Classic Controller, and it's basically the GameCube controller for the Wii.
Yes.
And it looks a little bit different.
Right.
The precision is just as good as it ever was.
As bad,
for
you mean.
anything, just as bad as it. But it's the same basic thing.
Yeah.
It's just that the game is a casual game, and this is a remake of one of the most heralded first-person shooters in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
And that's what they gave us. That's what they gave us.
It's too bad.
I look at this and I think, really, if I have the choice to play a remade, poorly GoldenEye or Master of Orion Goddamn 2, which is literally stands as one of the best games that has ever been created.
How much do you play Master of Magic? I'm just curious.
Lot.
You better.
I love that game.
You better.
Master of Magic, if you've never played it, is worth it. Go to GOG.com right now. Buy that thing. It costs like $4.
Scroll down.
You get the thing with the full... You get an MP3 soundtrack set.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's the great
in
part.
8-bit?
Well, it
depends on whatever the soundtrack is.
The whole thing. It's this. Whatever the soundtrack is, you get the full MP3 soundtrack. Burn that and play that in your car on the way to work.
Awesome.
And it's so
It is
great.
really cool.
And you save so much money.
GOG.com.
And it's so much better. GOG.com.
I really agree, and I think it's something people should consider. Go check out. I wish the GOG guys would sponsor us because they would be an awesome sponsor.
Dude, totally.
Yeah, and
I want to mention a few other alternatives to GOG before we move on. Though there's also Console Classics with an X.
Yeah, and they're a fan. They
are watch our show.
They are a fan of the network.
And there's also, Steam. To a certain extent, they have many classic games.
Well, here's the thing: you can pick up the full set of XCOM games on Steam for about $3.
And you know,
it doesn't have the full extras that you get over on GOG, like soundtracks and everything. It's just the game, but still, for $3, XCOM is one of the greatest tactical games ever.
Anytime Steam comes out with an old DOS game, they do include the DOS box.
Yeah, and so does the Console Classics guy.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
So it's really cool. Yeah, you can use it in a lot of these, but the care and packaging, and you just feel like you're buying like an experience, and I really like GOG.
I want to buy the original Leisure Suit Larry, and I want to try and figure out the answers to the questions they ask you to make sure that you're old enough to play the game. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have all of the Leisure Suit Larry games on my N900 phone.
Yeah,
yeah. So I can.
It was like, who's the president in 1975? Is what, like the question.
As one other tidbit, like when it comes to so none of these games are really going to be online. They have multiplayer aspects where you can play multiple players, but you're not going to be playing any of these massively multiplayer old games.
No.
If you do want old massively multiplayer games that are better than anything you're playing right now, I recommend old BBS games. You can go over to my blog, lunduke.com, to see my BBS with games.
And link in the show notes, too.
Off of this.
No.
But like games like Trade Wars, I find significantly more fun for a space game than, say, any of the other space games that are out there right
Eve.
now. So like Eve. It's the same basic game as Eve Online, only just an ANSI text. And it's free to play, and it's funner, I find. But anyway, so it's a digression, but I think new games suck.
And you got a good blog post about it, so there's some follow-up reading if people are curious. B-Man, keep an eye out for Mars Base, because I think it's time we should jump into the moving picture happy fun mutual time segment.
Yeah, that's us. And
Cue theme song.
Cue pretend theme song where we would have awesome music.
Wait, we need headphones to hear it.
Oh yeah, we will need headphones.
We don't have enough headphones.
I don't know how that works.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Here, you want to listen to my head?
Yes, so bad.
Hey, how's it going?
There you go.
Going
hey,
okay.
Mars.
How about you guys?
Good. So
this totally doesn't work.
No.
Right.
Here, Johnny. Here. Can you hear on? There. All right.
Okay.
So,
all right. We're rock and roll.
Now we're bringing in a fifth host here. Mars Base now, of course, is also better known probably as Heather from Sci-Fi, and she joined us last week to talk a little bit about the Torchwood Children of Earth.
Yes, thank you for your contribution.
And she also is, of course, a huge Sherlock fan. And we wanted, our goal here is to sort of incorporate the different hosts of the network on the show. And
I think I'd like to actually just introduce the reason that it's so awesome to bring Heather on about this.
Okay.
She's read the books. She reads Sherlock Holmes books.
So does John.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you guys are dudes. She actually read them, and she's a girl. No, but she sent us a doc with all this
Conan
stuff.
Doyle, dude. Everyone's read everything he's ever written,
Okay,
or
not
they're
me.
dorks.
I'm a dork.
Well, yeah.
Dork.
Let's
I read the Game
guilty.
of Thrones.
so let's get into this now. Here, Jamin, I'm going to hand you the switcher.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and Mars is on button number 4.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go grab a pair of headphones, so I will join you guys in just a minute.
Okay.
But let's
dive in.
Let's dive in now. Mars has a bunch of notes.
Yeah.
And I think had anybody here? Now, Brian, had you already seen the Sherlock series?
Yeah.
But Brian and Jeremy and John, you have.
I had
right?
not, although I was already planning on watching. I already had it.
Okay, and
set
I
up
had
on
not.
Netflix.
And Mars, you have, right?
Yeah, I've watched a couple times before you guys did.
So I will be back. But why don't we get started with the whole This is a total reboot of the Sherlock Holmes series, and maybe since both Mars
It's a
and
reimagining.
yeah, it's a reimagining, and both Mars and John read the books. I'd like to kind of start with
And
your
Brian.
guys' thoughts on.
Brian.
No, don't worry about me, John.
Oh, I didn't know Brian
John,
had.
don't even try to correct him anymore. Just leave Brian out. No, Brian.
Brian, well, in
almost
Brian's defense, Brian is a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes. I've known this for a long time.
Okay, I didn't know, but so I'd be
John's
curious.
got my back.
I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on where this reimagining has taken it.
Maybe we just focus a little more finely on how does everybody that read the
I'll be
books
back in a
feel
minute.
about the fact that they had to modernize.
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all,
Hey,
actually.
Chris, turn her up a little bit.
I loved it.
That's fine.
Yeah, because
should turn our
I alluded
headphones
to it last week when we were talking about it, how I thought that some of the old ones didn't really hold up, like just a few of them. And it was kind of funny because they referenced the one that I was specifically talking about, because they were talking about one of the
You mean one of the original books?
one of the original stories of Sherlock Holmes has like a Ku Klux Klan thing in it. I think it's
Yeah.
like the 5 Pips. Is that what it's called? And they referenced the 5 Pips in, is it the second
The
episode?
third episode.
Third episode?
I just
Third
watched
episode,
them
yeah.
today.
Yeah, the third one.
Did you?
Yeah, you were talking about that, and I was like, the Pips. Wait till it gets there.
Right. So you caught it too.
Yeah.
Good. So what did you think, Mars Base?
Oh, I loved the reimagining. My husband is a huge Holmes fan too. It's been a long time since I read the books, but I was watching the show and it just made me want to go online and research all about it and see, what changes were made, what kind of throw-ins and connections were still there.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch it? I mean, because I sat down and watched it for the first time, and it's just full disclosure, I loved the new series. I think it's phenomenal. I think they did a great
So
job.
good.
I love the hell out of it.
Yeah.
But every probably 10 minutes or so, I had to let out a huge groan where I'm like, oh, really? Like my favorite example is in the very first episode, after Sherlock and John Watson have met, and after they check out their new apartment, then they walk outside, and Sherlock says, the game is on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait.
A foot.
I thought it was supposed to be the game as a foot.
That it is. But he walks outside. He's like, the game is on. And I'm like, that was really close. And they modernized it. Did you need to modernize it? Like, honestly, I say the game is afoot a lot more than I say the game is on.
Now,
Like, who the hell do British people go around saying game is on, man, all the time?
I think I just want to put
British
when they're
listeners?
talking about soccer. Football, sorry.
My disclaimer here is one of the challenges I had with this is that you take the Sherlock Holmes character,
Right.
who is completely rooted in a world that doesn't really fit today. So, but they wanted to pay homage to that. So he doesn't really fit in today's world either. This new guy, he does fit, but he doesn't really fit in today's world. And everyone else is totally normal, like the police and everything like that. So everybody is currently is always looking at him like he's some sort of oddball.
I found it really
He is.
interesting how little
Yeah, he is an oddball.
he is an oddball. Absolutely.
It just keeps taking me
I found
out of
it
it a little bit.
interesting how little they needed to change the Sherlock Holmes character though to fit modern day because he's just a genius.
He likes to text.
Yeah.
Right, he does like to text.
I
He's
actually,
kind of Asperger's-y.
But what?
Yeah, well,
they
you know
had
what?
to change
He should be,
Watson.
I think, actually.
They had
He's
to
supposed
change
to be. That's
Watson
what he
quite a
is.
bit though to fit with modern day.
Watson got a major change.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to say too, I really dug like the special effect text message thing that floated up.
Oh,
All
I
of
love
the whole
that
clues
stuff.
thing.
yeah.
I just love how they did it. And Brian's right.
Yeah.
There were some things that bothered me, but like overall, I was just so happy to be watching like a good Holmes.
It was
Yeah.
nice.
Show, yeah.
It was nice.
Let's ask Mars. Mars, what do you think about what they did with the Watson character? Like the J-Man's right. He had the most changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, but there were a lot of core elements that were still there. Oddly enough, I found it amusing going back and reviewing is that the original Watson was in Anglo-Afghan War.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, it's still in Afghanistan.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
It's still in
Afghan Germany.
Afghanistan.
So they had to wait.
Afghan.
And he had
Same word,
a shoulder
basically.
injury and a leg injury, but the shoulder injury was the worst of the two. And
Yep.
so there were a lot of core elements that were still very Watson.
They
Right.
obviously love Sherlock Holmes stories.
Oh, they
And
did.
That was so. It was so clear the whole way through that they loved what they were the source material they were working with.
Yep.
Yeah, that they were obviously just trying to modernize it and make their own take on it. It's just, and I loved it. I loved it for what it was.
Now, this was made by Stephen Moffat, who's I know from Doctor Who's. The other guy's also a Doctor Who writer as well.
Yeah, they're both writers.
Is his name really pronounced Moffat?
Oh no, that's how I like saying it.
It's like I'm surrounding Doctor Who with Torchwood and
Right.
Sherlock, but I'm not committing to Doctor Who yet.
And I think that Sherlock still had some, like, I don't know, to me, I got some of the same kind of energy that some of the doctors have. David Tennant's Doctor, particularly, like, it's obviously not the same,
Well,
but I got
It's
some of the
interesting
same
because
energy.
actually, was this a note from Heather, the Matt Smith thing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Matt Smith,
Who's the current Doctor?
Yes.
his current doctor, he originally auditioned for the role of Watson. And they turned him down.
Before the new
And then they
Doctor
called
Who,
him
yeah.
back up and said, hey, this got to be the most awesome audition to lose. Like, oh, man, I lost Watson. And then, I'm Doctor Who?
That's pretty rocking.
You're like, that's the best loss of audition I've ever had.
But, on the other side of things, the guy that playing currently Sherlock, I could see making another Doctor at some point.
I thought he was kind of weird looking.
No.
He's a bit
Well,
weird.
has that
Works
ever
for-
stopped a Doctor Who actor?
No.
It works for a Sherlock character for sure, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No.
Totally. He's good.
What do you guys think about the whole, he's impassionate really in a lot of ways? Now, of course, they're kind of implying he's not, but he really he looks at a murder as a fun adventure and it's exciting, not as
Sherlock
a loss
Holmes
of,
is a sociopath.
Right.
They really
That's
nail
what they're
that
saying.
home in this series.
I would like
To
He
a
is.
kind of a sick degree.
Yeah.
Like the
Right.
fact that they keep bringing up on it's only 3 episodes, and yet within those 3 episodes, they keep bringing up the fact you don't care that there's people in danger. And he basically every time either brushes off the question or answers by the fact
Right.
that the game is more important.
Now, me personally, I didn't really get that as much in the books. I got that he was like, he could kind of take himself away from the situation, but I didn't really get that he didn't
He was
care
just
about
passionate.
it so much. Yeah.
I was actually asking. I actually watched these live today. You streamed my face from home and had people watching me
Now
watching
that is-
television.
that's the mutual watch.
That is the
Yeah.
mutual
That's the
side of this
mutual.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys that watched that. But I commented a little bit after we finished that it seems like this reboot really tried to nail that point home. Like maybe to a beating you over the head sort of point.
Yeah, and nobody likes him.
I was, one of the things that John told me as a reader that I found surprising. I'll tell you, my experience with Sherlock Holmes is I went over to archive.org and I downloaded like 5 old Sherlock Holmes movies because they're all public domain now. The ones from like the 40s to the 50s or something like that. And I've never really been able to get into them because that Sherlock Holmes is like this goody two shoes version of the Sherlock.
He's made into like
Right.
an Errol Flynn type character.
Yeah, like an eccentric Columbo kind of a thing. And what John, you told me that Sherlock Holmes is a drug addict, or not a drug addict, but
he did cocaine. It's more of like a challenge.
There was an
morphine
homage to that in this.
Well, they talk about like drug problems and
Remember,
yeah.
like there's this opening scene where he's got his
Don't
arm
find
out
drugs.
and he's like slapping his arm. Remember
Well,
that?
yeah,
And it's like-
yeah,
and then they
yeah,
reveals nicotine
yeah,
patches.
and
Yeah.
he basically makes it clear that there's a ton of drugs in his apartment when
Right.
they were looking around his apartment.
Right.
Yeah,
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 he
yeah.
didn't say
When
anything,
the
but
original
yeah, he was
Sherlock
like,
Holmes was there, the drugs that he did were legal at that time.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
but
still, he did
He
do
did
them.
cocaine,
Which is-
and he was in a opium den.
I
for
would
one
like-
of the,
Right.
Yeah,
one of
he
the
did the
books.
opium.
I would like to see him. I would like to see them explore that more. Because, boy, I don't want to sound. This is going to sound really douchey.
Yep.
I don't mean to sound like this.
Nope.
But I have, depending on the day, really bad ADD. And there were scenes.
let's talk about shiny things.
Yeah. What squirrel? There were times where I felt like I was identifying with the way, like there's a time where he's working on something and he tells somebody to turn around because they're thinking too loud. Like I've literally felt that before, like where every single thing in the room is distracting. And that was. So I'm wondering if you guys were watching this, did you find moments where you identified with Sherlock as yourself? Did you
Actually, I found it remarkably unidentifiable, unempathetic main character. Now,
I think you're supposed to empathize more with Watson.
Yeah.
I think so
Yeah.
as well. But I really love
Watson's
Sherlock
the
Holmes
narrator.
because he's a genius. I think there's just something about that type of brilliant intellect that makes people that want to be that smart or think they're that smart latch on.
They don't always do this, and I was worried about this getting obnoxious, but the way they do those little float-up hints of like the clues that he's picking up on, you're able, in some circumstances when it works for the story, you're able to keep up with Sherlock without having to like spell it out for you.
And without feeling stupid.
Yeah, and I really like that. Now, of course, they play with that for suspense purposes. They don't always clue you in. But I thought they did that really well, and
I thought it was great. I really like how they did everything. There's some parts where they explain it to you, but they don't. You know, they do, like you said, they take their time doing it. They don't like bash you over the head like, "Hey, you're stupid." It's like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool. He figured it out that way."
Yeah.
They do it in a smart way.
By the end of the first episode, though, I actually was not sold on the series.
Yeah,
really?
you know, same here as well. By the end of the first episode, I actually watched the first episode, and just like Torchwood, I had to talk myself into coming back to it.
I was in from the start. I was
in, but I was not as in as I expected. I thought I would be like, just completely swept away.
It's Sherlock Holmes.
It was rocking.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, what
I was going at with the archive.org stuff is I have not been able to identify with some of the Sherlock Holmes stuff before. This Sherlock Holmes, though, I'm totally ready for the next season.
Oh yeah, and they're actually I think they're filming it now they were in May anyway. Yeah. So there's going to be 3 more episodes, and they're doing like the big ones.
Well, some of the big ones. They're
doing Hound of the Baskervilles, which is the most well known.
Yeah.
Bohemia.
Scandal in Bohemia and The Final Problem.
The Final Problem, which is the last one with Moriarty, right? Or the only one in the book with Moriarty, right? Is that? I don't remember what that actually.
I don't remember.
I think that's the one where Sherlock goes away.
Is this?
Well, there's multiple stories with Moriarty.
Well, yeah.
Right. But the one where
are you talking about the one where Moriarty,
where Sherlock goes where they think he's dead?
Oh, the one where he's dead and then
at the cliff?
Spontaneously is not dead anymore.
Yeah. Well, because Arthur Conan Doyle didn't want to write Sherlock Holmes books anymore.
Right. He invented Moriarty to kill off Sherlock
Holmes, and then it didn't work.
But that's the first one with Moriarty.
That actually brings up the thing that I dislike the most about the entire series.
Oh.
And this is the one thing. Moriarty. I'm going to gloss over a couple of things.
Wait, should we spoil it? Jim
Moriarty. Yeah. His name is James. Is James really, does it need to be updated? Do you not know anyone named James? Does everyone on the planet named James have to go by Jim because it's 2011?
Although, on the other side of things, I did not catch that it was James. The first time he appeared, I did not catch it.
I didn't catch it either.
It was like J-Dog.
It's Jim.
I didn't catch it.
J-Man, maybe?
J-Dog.
J-Man.
I didn't catch it till the end of the season. Brian caught it in the first episode. I didn't catch it till the end.
James is James. Just call him friggin' James.
Yeah.
That'd be like, I don't know. It'd be like if his name was Daniel Moriarty. If everyone was like, that's Dan Moriarty. It would just make it sound stupid.
Right.
I want to.
Awesome. My name's J-Dog M-Face.
James Moriarty.
You know what? Put that professor back in front of it, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
He's supposed to have like a huge head.
Professor Moriarty.
He is. They talk about phrenology at the time.
He's supposed to have a very large head, a very large cranium.
You know, you brought up phrenology when you guys reviewed the Sherlock Holmes movie.
Yeah, that's the study of Walt Hassel.
Yeah.
So, I love Men at Work references. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the movie Men at Work. It's amazing with the Sheen brothers.
No, it's not.
It's the best movie ever.
I saw it in the theater.
Wait. One thing I thought was really cool that I didn't expect them to do was they brought in Sherlock's brother.
Yeah,
and
early.
Very early.
Really didn't.
So early that I thought
he's supposed to be smarter than Sherlock Holmes.
So early, in fact, that I thought we were being introduced to to at the time.
Yeah,
me too.
I'm like, whoa, this is really Moriarty, and I'm sure that's what we were supposed to think.
Did anybody think at first? Did anybody at first think that Watson was Holmes?
No.
Oh,
No.
I did. The first, I didn't. I mean, I caught up fast, but the opening scenes are in Afghan, and I thought, oh wow.
Oh, Chris.
Well, no,
I don't get it.
I was like, oh no, this is bad. I was like, oh, I don't want this to be like this at all. And then it was like, oh, this is Watson. Okay, this is good. This is okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you thought it was going in the wrong direction?
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Right.
I was waiting for friendly aliens to show up. To be honest with you.
I want to ask Heather.
Aren't there supposed to be Reese's Pieces
beamed
somewhere?
up into.
I have a question for Heather as a fan of the books. What did you think, Heather, in their attempt to modernize? They took Watson's journals and they made it a blog. He's blogging, and they play with this a little bit. Everybody's following Watson's blog. What did you think of going to? Did you think it was a little cheap to make him have to? I just realized that Mars Base has a Sherlock DVD set behind her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
The other side.
Did you think that the blogging thing was a forced modernization?
No, not at all.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah?
Watson was the writer of the books. He was the narrator. It was all about. There were a couple of stories where Sherlock actually was talking, but it was all Watson. And I mean,
yeah.
There are not a lot of
I
people
kind of agree.
who get out a typewriter or by hand. It's all online and computers and
what Watson was writing in the original stories was not big giant novels that he was publishing. He was writing essentially for a pulp trade that would be the equivalent of an e-zine nowadays.
Yeah,
or a blog.
Or a blog.
Or a blog. Yeah.
I mean, that's what he was doing.
Yeah. I thought it was fine.
I did like it, but actually, and I don't know if I was just
You know what? I liked it so much that I want there to be a real site.
Oh, they should.
Totally.
Let's do it, everybody.
No, not us. Them.
and then have comments
Who's good at solving mysteries?
Show.
I read a lot of Encyclopedia Brown novels.
As did I.
Nice.
And 2 Minute Mysteries by the same author.
I honestly at first my biggest hurdle was accepting this Sherlock. I think he's too young. I
think
that's the point.
What's it got to be old or something?
But I want you to remember how we're introduced to him. He's using a riding crop to whip a corpse.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I dug that.
It's not going any faster, Sherlock.
You know what we need to do is we need to come up with another show to watch.
We do.
We guys have any ideas? Now, okay, so before we go, anyone here not going to follow the second season of Sherlock?
Oh, absolutely going to watch it.
We're on board.
I'm waiting. I will watch it as it airs if possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a slam dunk, right?
Yeah.
It's a great show.
Easily.
If you look on Amazon on their reviews for it, it's like 4.5 stars out of 5 or something like that.
I know that it's kind of in some circles could be considered a black mark against it, but it's only 3 episodes long.
Yeah, but they're an hour and a half each.
I know, but I mean that's actually a really good thing specifically for this show.
They're on Netflix.
And for people with our kind of schedules.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can watch so much show.
Yes.
In such a small amount of time.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I was so hooked on it.
Do we have any? Does anybody have anything that they've been kind of wanting? Is the next show we can watch? Now's the chance to just throw it out there. We can.
You know, this is something that I've just started
Netflix
rewatching recently, and it is on Netflix, so you guys can watch this. And I wouldn't ask you to watch the whole thing because it's several seasons long, but I'm interested to hear your guys' takes on Farscape.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Maybe like the first 5 or 6 episodes.
5 or 6 episodes of Farscape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Primeval?
What is Primeval? Never heard of it.
What about Falling Skies? That's supposed to be decent.
Oh, well, but that's on
actually,
right now.
that's on
It's
right
not
now.
so much of a.
Yeah.
It's not so much
There's
of
a
a
couple episodes
rewatch,
of
happy
the
fun time,
season.
neutral time thing.
So you really have never heard of Primeval, dude?
I really haven't.
All right. So
Have you not watched
British-
Castblast before?
Primeval is
Wait,
a
I was
British
on that, I
show
think.
where basically the portals open through time and ta-da, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's the basic premise.
Isn't that on Sci-Fi now?
With drama and adventures.
But I'm looking for something bite-sized that we could jump into. B-Man, what do you think?
Bite-sized?
Anything off
Actually-
the top of your head?
You got me watch Jekyll. That was okay.
Jekyll was great. Honestly, if we want to continue with the Moffat trend, he also did the Jekyll reboot, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was a lot of fun. I see. It's tough for me because all of these sci-fi shows that come out, I watch all of them.
Yeah, well, they're good. I can.
None of these. I don't think you guys are going to come up with anything I have not watched.
Have
Well, that's
all
okay.
of us
It's all right
seen?
if you've seen it.
Have all of us seen Firefly? Like
course.
the
Of
series,
course.
not
Yes,
the movie.
of course.
I believe I was the one who gave it to Brian.
Yeah, John was the first one that got me going on that one.
Yeah.
A couple people in the chat room are recommending Andromeda.
Yeah, but that's hard to dip into.
Andromeda, Firefly, Doctor Who.
It's again a very
Keep
long
jumping
one.
around him.
I mean, we might as well hop into season 3 of Babylon 5 while we're at it. I mean,
Well, okay, you mentioned Babylon 5, but why don't Chris brought this up last episode? I think it was. Why don't we go ahead and focus on a miniseries?
Brian and
We could have other people decide for us, you know.
I got to check with Brian first. Brian, do you have the intestinal fortitude to watch the BSG miniseries again? Because think of it. I mean, really think of it.
We like the miniseries. We like the
The original
miniseries.
miniseries
The original
or the
miniseries.
reboot miniseries?
No. Just the like it's like the 3-episode
The
arc.
Ron Moore miniseries or the original?
The Ron Moore miniseries.
The Ron Moore-
Because the
That's what-
original one had a miniseries and a movie also.
But here's
He's
the thing.
referring to the Ron Moore.
I would
Not
like
those.
to. I would like to talk about the
Dude, Battlestar 1981.
I'm saying BST. You remember the rule is when we first.
No, Battlestar 1981. There's only like a couple of episodes, and it's crazy ridiculous. They come to Earth and ride motorcycles.
I don't think it's on Netflix, man.
Oh, I don't think it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would
yeah.
have to
have a way
torrent
to
it
get
or
to
something.
it.
All right, I could get through it. Honestly, the original Ron Moore reboot miniseries was good.
I
We
would
liked
like-
it. We
I
all
would-
liked it a lot.
We've all walked away from the finale now. Jeremy, did you finish?
Yeah,
Okay,
I did.
So we've all walked away from the a long time ago, but we are on record with our thoughts about Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
It's
And
generally a
shame on
thumbs
you,
down.
Ron Moore.
Yeah.
And I would like to now look at the BSG miniseries and maybe we
and
could
attempt to do
All
a
right.
standalone review.
All right. All right, I could do the miniseries.
I can do the miniseries.
I could do the miniseries.
Yeah.
I want to bring up for a future. I'm on board with this as well. So let's make that our official call.
Okay. So
BSG miniseries.
So
but I also want to mention the chat room has brought up the Dune miniseries that Sci-Fi recently.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So maybe for a future rewatch.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. For you mean Jeremy? For
I have not seen it.
future...
Is that on? Because we should have some kind of rule where they're all on Netflix so other people can do it easily.
For a future moving picture, happy, fun, mutual time.
And you know, they don't always have to be TV. We can just do classic movies sometimes too and just re-talk about them. I think
yeah, sure, absolutely.
In fact, we'd like to hear your suggestions, so email those in tonight at Jupiter Broadcast.
Or post them wherever you're watching this. We'll see it eventually.
Yeah. So, okay.
game.
We'll go with the BSG miniseries for our next moving picture, happy, fun, mutual time.
And we'll try if we can find it on Netflix.
Saying it, by the way.
Thank you.
We'll try to include that in a link in our show notes so you can find that on Netflix if you're a member. If you're not a member to Netflix, you're stupid.
Come on. It's
going on record.
It's like 3 pennies a month or something.
Actually, I want to give credit to a few people there in the chat room right now because they went out and they, at least I know for the Torchwood series, some people drop some cash so they could do the watch along.
Whoa,
that's really cool.
Well done.
Yeah,
well done. Yes,
I'm enjoying the hell out of doing these.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite parts of the show.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It gives us something.
Well, that and the drinking.
It's the longest part of the show.
The drinking's great too. Well, it's also now I'm totally man hard for Torchwood and for Sherlock, and these are new shows that I'm going to get to watch now. And not only that, but they're BBC shows that I never would have seen otherwise.
Right.
So
it's good stuff.
It's been totally awesome. You guys, is there anything else? And Mars, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
You totally, absolutely, you bet, anytime. Yeah. And now, anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap this guy up?
Not at all.
Should we talk about how the rums compared with one another? I think it was kind of an open and shut case, wasn't it?
Well, it is. If you're
it's elementary, my dear Watson.
If you're drinking straight, the Captain Morgan's private stock is definitely worth the $10.
Now, I want to tell you, I have a lot of experience with mixed drinks. A lot. I mean a lot.
Yep.
And I would safely say that if you're going to go mixed drinks, use Bacardi or something equally unoffensive. I actually prefer, if you're using dark colas and stuff like that, use a Captain Morgan spiced rum.
Yeah.
But not the private stock. This stuff deserves to be sipped. It deserves to be gulped.
It's tasty.
It's smooth and sweet.
If you Google
like
it,
sweet stuff too.
Yeah, it's not being too sweet.
If you Google it, supposedly it has once it hits your stomach, the enzymes interact and it makes it a digestive aid.
Oh, it's good for you.
Well, that's what they say.
I'm taking it to work.
So I guess that's really what it comes down to. The end review is if you're going to drink it straight, go private or go something good.
It's worth the extra cost, I'd say easily.
Yeah. It really
But if you're going to mix it, it's just don't bother.
Don't bother.
You're masking the taste anyway.
Yeah, as soon as I added your homemade Red Bull to the thing, it was
drinkable.
It was totally drinkable. Yeah. All right, boys.
All right.
Well, I think that wraps up this week's episode of Jupiter Night. Now, here's a couple of pieces of business maybe you'd like to know about. We do this show live on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific.
We're live now?
We're live right now.
12 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I know. And we do it over at jblive.tv on Thursdays. And then, of course, we try to release it that night for download. And there's generally a video version available and then also the audio version and all that kind of stuff. And you can go over to jupiterbroadcasting.com to grab that. Yeah?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Jupiter at Night, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.
We don't have a play out.
What?
That's the end of
I have an epic play out. The Jupiter at Night.
Jupiter night is over.
Man, we are drunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stop recording, Jeremy.